the Goral Buxton brass wire construction boot in black Chromexcel. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dale of Dale's Leatherworks. In today's video, I'm very excited to be unboxing and talking about my second pair of Goral boots. This is going to be the Goral Buxton brass wire construction boot. Now, why is it called the brass wire construction boot? Well, there's actually quite a bit to understand about brass wire construction. But before we begin, we've got two marvelous Goral boot bags included in the box, as well as this really awesome, like bright yellow neon colored box. I think that the box and the presentation is really top notch. So let's get a look at these bad boys. Wow. At first glance, these are just some of the craziest built boots I've ever seen. The first thing that jumps out at me is going to be the double layer midsole with 2 layers of veg tan in there. That veg tan is about as thick as my thick insoles that I sell, which is clocking in at about 15 ounces. And then there's what looks like a composite layer in there as well. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 veg tan layers in the heel stack. No obvious signs of stitching, which really jumps out at me when I first take a look at these boots. It's actually kind of crazy, but it will make more sense here in a second once I start talking about the construction method. These are not Goodyear welted. These are not stitch down constructed. These are not rapid Blake stitch constructed. No, these are something different entirely. And so at first glance, these kind of look just like a standard black plain toe Chromexcel boot, but there is a lot more going on with this than meets the eye. So the Chromexcel is 6 ounces thick, really thick, hardy Chromexcel there on the uppers. The toe is structured. This last is just beautiful. It's a nice, really rounded out last. We've got 5 eyelets, 2 speed hooks. These are speed hooks that you would normally see on something like a lace-to-toe mountaineering type boot. So those are really cool. They're double riveted Each speed hook is double riveted down, and they're actually very thick, so there's no way your lace is gonna slip out of those like they do in certain speed hook constructions. And then a really cool Goral and UK flag logo on the tongue. Very prominent, really jumps out at you. Beautiful. Let's read off some of the specs here. Now, I do want to throw it out there that this Buxton boot comes in 4 colors that are currently up for pre-order. I will leave a link to that in the description below. Full disclosure, if you click that link and make a purchase, I might get a teeny tiny commission. Please and thank you. So this retails at $632. They are offering it in black Chromexcel, dark brown Chromexcel, natural Chromexcel, and forest green. All 4 of those colors, I believe, are staples, by the way. Yes, including the green. So these are handmade in England, made with over 80 years of skill and precision. And they say that this is resolable construction, but I don't know how you're going to resole these without giving it a whole new construction. So these are made with unparalleled craftsmanship and rooted in a rich tradition of boot making. These are constructed using a brass wire machine, one of the oldest and most durable techniques in the world. These resolable boots are designed to endure and last a lifetime. So the brass wire machine actually predates the Goodyear welt construction, believe it or not. And there's only 4 of these machines remaining in the world, 3 of which are owned by Goral or an affiliate of Goral. I believe these machines they're actually owned by William Lennon Boots. So I don't know the relationship between William Lennon and Goral, but all the information I could find on the internet actually points to him as being the owner of the 3 brass wire machines. The soles are attached with a 3 BUSM rapid standard brass wire screwing machine, of which only 4 exist in the world. 3 of these machines are in their workshop, and the 4th is believed to be in New Zealand. The brass wire drawn from a giant spool is threaded through the sole, insole, and leather upper, creating an exceptionally strong, durable bond. This technique, far older than Goodyear welt, is one of the most reliable methods for sole attachment. Featuring uppers crafted with our signature triple Puritan stitch, they are made from Horween Chromexcel leather, a staple in the Goral lineup. Built to be resoled, these boots will only grow more character and strength with each wear. Much like our sneakers, designed for both uniqueness and longevity, they offer the perfect blend of tradition, craftsmanship, and timeless style. Made to order, made in England. So this is according to the William Lennon Shoes website. It says, unique to William Lennon & Co., we used one of our 3 BUSM rapid standard brass wire screwing machines to attach the prepared sole or through sole to the leather upper. 3 of only 4 machines left in the world. Brass wire from a giant spool is driven through the sole of the boot and up through the insole and leather upper to attach everything together. The machine is set to a preset depth, so it knows how long each screw needs to be to ensure a strong and solid fix. The use of the threaded brass screwing wire is far older and more traditional than a Goodyear welt, and is still one of the strongest methods of sole attachment ever used. The old wooden floors of the mill vibrate when the screwing machine is in operation. Once the sole is attached to your boot, they are then leveled, a process where all the brass wire screws, insole, shape, and outsole layers are put through the leveling machine to ensure the inside of the boot is smooth and comfortable and ready for the final stages of production. And so once again, I am unsure of the relationship between Goral and the William Lennon Bootmakers, but they were both established around the same time. William Lennon has been around since 1899. Goral started in 1936. So they're probably co-located, they're probably friends, they probably have a good working relationship, and if I had to guess, that's probably what's going on. Kind of like my cobbler Sonny, who now works for Vibram out in California. He would hit me up from time to time, like if he needed some veg tan. I'm under no obligation to give anybody free leather, but he would ask, and I would just give it to him. We're friends, and that's what friendship is all about, okay? So yes, they say that this is full grain Chromexcel, 2 millimeters, which translates to 2 to 2.2 millimeters, which translates to 5 to 6 ounces. The pull tab is also Chromexcel. They call it a loop in the UK. That's interesting. The tongue is Chromexcel. The eyelets are antique brass. The toe is polycarbonate reinforced toe box. The last is the Army semi-sprung last. Now, that is badass. Yeah, this looks to me like an Army boot, you know? aside from the natural edge finish on the sole, this very much looks like a police or a commando type boot. They've got wooden shanks, a polycarbonate counter for extra rigidity at the heel. The sole finish, the triple leather sole and leather stack heel fitted with day-night lager rubber four-part and heel. Four-part. So this is the four-part. It's amazing how, even though our languages are mutually intelligible, the British just have their own unique way of describing footwear. I love it. And the laces are leather. So I have to give credit where credit is due. Rose Anvil did an amazing video on this very same boot, and he was bewildered by the construction method because Goral is one of the last makers on the planet preserving this construction method. You know, somehow they managed to hold on to those wire construction machines, keep them operating. Keeping them operating for well over 100 years is a miracle in and of itself. Retaining 4 of them is also a huge achievement. And then exactly how it works is Weston had a hard time figuring it out, but after watching his whole video and then he tore it apart, he found how the wire machine works is it looks like a stitching machine. It looks like a welting machine when you're running it through the machine. You know, the guy is holding it there and it's essentially like punching like a nail gun this threaded brass wire through all layers of the outsole, except for the day-night lager outsole, which I'll talk more about in a second. It's going through the leather, and the machine must punch it through and then cut it off. Now, the one thing what Weston couldn't figure out, I still can't figure out, is if the machine is screwing these brass wires through the sole or if it's just punching them through, because they're ribbed almost. I don't think that they're spiraled. I think when he cut the boots apart, the brass wire was not spiraled like a screw, it was instead ribbed. And so his conclusion was they're punching the brass wire through the sole and it cuts off. And the good thing about leather, you could punch something through the leather and the leather will just automatically grip around the ribbing on the screw and then be held very firmly in place. That's one thing I love about veg tan is it is elastic. It's like wood. It does warp over time, and using that characteristic to your advantage by shooting the brass wire through the layers of veg tan, the veg tan then sort of embraces it and takes on its new shape from there. So very cool. It was one of the most difficult boots Weston ever tore apart, and I'm probably going to be pirating a lot of his video and putting it into this one because he managed to get some very good footage of the whole process. Yes, and this day-night lager outsole is absolutely incredible. Weston was saying it's some of the hardest material, some of the hardest rubber that he's ever tested. What's cool about that is it's not super thick either. It's like just a thinner layer of rubber so that the boot sits a little lower. And then these outsoles are held in place by both glue, probably like a barge cement, as well as 4 brass screws. And the heel cap is also secured in place, probably by a cement as well as 4 brass screws. I love it. And then, yeah, from the bottom you can see what looks like brass nails. I'm not sure if this is the brass wire or the brass nails that is visible on the veg tan underneath of the sole. Weston's conclusion was that the brass wire is threaded, actually, not just ribbed, but nonetheless, they're not screwing it in, they're punching it in, chopping it off there. Hey guys, Editing Me is back, and I found a comment on Rose Anvil's video by Klaus Becker 4745. He said, I'm going to try to bring some clarity into this. Yes, the brass wire is threaded and is not pushed but screwed into the boot. The machine has a rotating jig that feeds the wire and screws it in. It is set to the thickness of the shoe bottom and the wire is cut after being screwed in all the way to the insole. As far as I know, they peen the ends of the wire, compressing and flattening them by machine or hammer. I am certain this construction is very durable, especially for how quick and simple the production is. However, it has flaws. As a bootmaker, he always learned about the disadvantages of having nails over other metal fasteners in the flex zone of the boot. For one, they make it super stiff, therefore the high toe spring, I'm sure. Also, the constant movement of the leather layers can loosen them as they don't flex together with the sole. Unreal. I've never had a boot like this in my life. Like I said, this construction method is very special, very unique, and I didn't realize that something like that predated the Goodyear welt machine. I mean, just fantastic. And then yes, we have the triple Puritan stitch fastening the quarters to the vamp. These came with some amazing black rawhide laces. On the inside, we've got a veg tan Goral heel seat, says made in England. The size 8, stamped in there as well. Now, a little bit about sizing. That's the biggest question we always get. When it comes to Goral sizing, they say take your standard size, and what that means is go true to size, except this is UK sizing, so that means actually take a full size down from your dress shoe or sneaker size. I am a 9 Brannick. These are in a size 8. The fit is perfect. I wear an 8.5 in most US boot brands, Red Wing, Truman. So 8.5 Truman, 8.5 Red Wing. Go another half size down from those and you will get a perfect heel to ball placement in your boots. It's been a while since I've worn black boots. That's why I'm so excited about these. I could finally wear my black cuffs again, as well as my black quick release belt, of which, by the way, I have 2 Dale's Leatherwork, also an English leather, J&FJ Baker leather. I have 2 of these remaining, and I'm probably not going to be doing another belt run for a while. But these are made with pigeon tree, quick release, made in Japan buckles, as well as a raw brass keeper made in Japan. These are hand riveted by me, hand punched the logo on there myself, and this is a finished belt. All that is remaining is the size. I explain the sizing on my website. Get them while supplies last. And how does black Chromexcel age, do you ask? Well, these are my Truman boots, the first pair of Truman boots, the pair that started it all for me. And these I got in 2013 or 2014, so had these over 10 years, and yeah, they still look and feel like new, aside from some subtle aging. Obviously, black Chromexcel holds up tremendously throughout the years. And then these are my Grant Stone Ottawa boots in black Chromexcel on a leather outsole. Almost just as old. Probably got these in 2015, 2016. Just a tremendous pair. Link to Grant Stone in the description below. Alright, so final thoughts. I will say that when I walk in these, it is a different type of walking experience. This Army last is so good for my foot. I just love a wide-fitting last. I buy D-width, but I never complain about an extra wide fitting. I always welcome it, especially we're getting into the fall and winter. I could use these with thick socks, thick cotton and or wool socks. And yeah, walking in these is awesome. I'm not gonna lie, the sole is a little stiff. It takes some breaking in, but I wore these briefly. I'm looking forward to wearing these the rest of the day. I'm gonna get some more outside footage of these, of me walking in them. But yeah, just be aware that that outsole is a little resistant to flexing at first. You just gotta put them through the paces is all. I will say though, this boot, these are my Renav goods in brown oiled shinky horsehide, and this triple veg tan midsole is probably too crazy for most people. Oh yeah, these are about the same thickness it looks like. Yeah, no, the Renavs are just a hair thicker, but the veg tan used here, this is a triple layer midsole of veg tan. These still don't barely flex at all when I walk in them. With this pair, I'm assuming with the composite layer between both layers of veg tan, that makes these flex a lot better. So if this had been 3 layers stacked on top of each other, then yeah, walking in these would be a challenge. But these guys know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a long time. So the flex is absolutely there. All right, so anyways, that'll do it for now. As always, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about these amazing Goral Buxton brass wire construction boots? I'm blown away. I'm deeply honored to have these in my possession. I'm so glad that they're still making these things. It's just unreal. Huge kudos to the Goral team for keeping that heritage alive. What else is really cool is the top of the veg tan midsole is painted black, but I'm glad that they left the natural edge. It just looks super sharp. All right, once again, link to Goral in the description below. A friendly reminder, I am an affiliate, and so if you click that link and make a purchase, I might get that little commission, but you know, I make these videos for the audience. I don't ask for donations or super chats. You know, this is a hobby. I do this because I love the community. So I just want to be fully upfront and transparent that I do get some compensation. All right, anyways, that'll do it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. End of transmission.